Okay, we are recording the session. Share screen, share. Yep. Yeah. If you go to azure.microsoft.com, here you can create your free Azure account. Try Azure for free. This is where you create your free Azure account. Just go here. Okay. You can create a Microsoft account for yourself, or okay, we'll create one. Wait. So anybody can tell your email ID. I don't want your password, just your email ID, so that we'll just try creating the account here itself. Because I created so many accounts on my account, I'll not access your Gmail or something. Okay, then I need to create a
Yeah,
new Gmail account so that
you can
can.
try Harpreet Singh underscore
Okay,
HRPREET
Harpreet Singh underscore
1140
1140
502
502
@outlook.com.
outlook.com.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Already you have a Microsoft account. Out.
Yeah.
Okay, Outlook is Microsoft only, no? So we don't want to use this because you'll need to tell me the password if I want to log in here, right? So I don't want that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think Ritesh has sent me an ID. We'll try with that. Ritesh
It's same
also
Outlook.
Outlook only. You're all using already Microsoft account. So
We can do one thing. I can share my screen or Harpreet and
yeah, we
we can so.
yeah.
Harpreet, can you please do? Actually, I'm in parallel meeting, so
Harpreet, you'll just go to the portal.azure.com. I'll guide you how to log in and create. Just share, can you share your screen? Is it okay?
Uh, I'm joining from phone right now, and I don't
Okay.
remember. I think created long time back, but
Okay. Okay then, guys. Okay, then what we'll do is I'll start with this platform only, and I'll share you a link to a video how to create an Azure portal account. Fine. Is it okay? What I'll do is I'll share you a link how to create a free account on Azure. You can watch that video and create there, and you can ping me on the WhatsApp if you have any issues. I'll start with the intro and I'll start with Data Factory today for now. Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. If you have anything, we can do hands-on also. I can help you over WhatsApp and all. We can have a call and do it. Fine. Okay. So when I create my account, this is my paid account. Actually, I'm using a pay as you go because I've been using this portal since so many days. I mean, so many years. So my free account has been all used. So this is my pay as you go account. So when I open my first portal.azure.com, this is my homepage, how it looks, and it shows me all the Azure services which are recently used on the top. Okay, and if I go to more services, it will show me all the services of Azure here. Okay, these are all the services of Azure, which is Azure is providing, Azure portal is providing as a part of its cloud. So most frequently used services by us, like as a data engineer, this is a storage account. Storage account is nothing but when I had in the when I told you in the intro, ADLS, something called Azure Data Lake Storage, right? So storage account is nothing but Azure Data Lake Storage. Both are same storage account or Azure Data Lake Storage. Gen 2. So this is nothing but your storage account is nothing but the same as the hard disk capacity of your desktop or laptop. So this is where you store your files. If I go to my storage account, I have already created one uh, account here with the name of this Archana SA1. This is the which I have created. We can create another storage account also. First, we'll go to this. So this storage account has data storage. If you click on this left panel, data storage, you can see containers, file shares, queues, and tables. You go to containers. This is where we are storing our data while we are running our pipelines or creating. This is the place where we store our data. Okay, so storage account is Azure Data Lake Storage where we store our data. This is nothing but just like our hard disk on your laptop or desktop. Fine. So this is the storage space on your cloud. Okay, in containers, it will be empty if you are creating a new one. You can create a container and inside the container, same as your our independent systems and all, we can create folders and subfolders and files also. Okay, here we have add directory. You can add directory and upload files. You can't create file, you can upload file or you can download them because here you can't create it. You can upload a blank file and you can edit it also, but you can't create it. You can create a folder and then upload files here. Okay, this is data lake storage, which is storage account. These are already files that I've been using to run the pipelines, example pipelines. So these are the containers. And as a part of Azure Data Engineering, also, sometimes you'll be using tables also. These tables are nothing but these are like SQL tables. There is no database. They are just independent tables. You will get to know how to use these tables in the course. Okay, so 99% of the time we'll be using containers to store our data. In these containers, in these folders, you can have any kind of data. So there can be .csv files also, .json files also, Parquet files also, any kind of files you'll be having it. You can put any file in the storage account. There is no restriction on that. So this is what your storage account looks like. Okay, so we'll go back here. So that is what storage account is. Then next, if you see data factories, just click on data factories. If you can see data factories here, okay, or else you can go to your search. If you are visiting for the first time, if you say data, you can see data factories here. Just click on it and it will show all the data factories which are created by you. So this is one data factory that I have created. It will show all the data factories in the list here. So if I click this again, I'll be able to open the data factory and do the operations. So these are all the data factories. Will create one also today. First, when we click this, there is again a pane that's opening and it asks to launch this studio. When I say launch studio, there is a new tab that is opening. So this is the data factory homepage. This was my Azure portal homepage. This is my data factory homepage. This is how it looks. Fine. So when you come to the left pane, you can see home, then say author, then say monitor, then manage, then learning center. Fine. When you go to home, then home is this page only. So when you go to author, you will see the screen which I'll show you pipelines. This is where you build pipelines. Then this is data sets. This is where you build data sets. You can create data sets here. Then I'll come. So if I click pipelines, it will show all my pipelines which are created in this account, right? Here you can segregate these pipelines by creating folders also, so that you put related pipelines in the same folder. The same way we put same files in a particular folder and all. This is pipelines. This is other. This is pipelines. When you click on a pipeline, there is a different window that's opening. This is the canvas where we build our pipeline. So if you have seen my intro class, I've shown you my pipelines from my organization that we are working on. So pipeline is nothing but a combination of activities. Activities say, if you take in a general sense, when you say pipeline, the data is flowing from source to destination. And basically what we do is we do some operations on this data. So when data is flowing from, say, some source to destination, there are multiple operations that are done on the data. So to do that operations, we'll be adding activities here. This is copy data activity, which takes data from one source and put it in a destination. So there are different types of activities here. When we are, say, there is this data flow activity, we'll learn it in 2 3 days only. So if you are just connecting this to here on success, I'll explain this in detail again. So what we do is we generally have the combination of activities, so data would flow. These activities would run in combination, which would be called as the pipeline. So one after the other, it will run. You can have any kind of structure also. This is just which says on success of this activity, this is running, and on success of this activity, this notebook is running. There are different kinds of activities here. If you say there is something called filter activity, which can be used to filter out data. We'll come to every activity in detail. Or else we have some for each activity in which when data is flowing, say there is an array of data that is flowing. So for every item of that array, I have to do some activity. For that, I'll be using this for each activity. So to do the operations on this data, if nothing like if somebody has working on stored procedure, I mean SQL, right? In stored procedure, you will be having different queries in a combination, so that one after the other it will run, right? Similar to that, we'll have different activities here. So when we are running the pipeline, these will run one after the other. Okay, so in these we'll be applying these activities on the data. So when data, so our target is to do, say, whether it is data cleaning or data transformations, we'll use these and do those our data transformations and all. So this is where we build pipelines. Then this is other tab, right? In other tab, we are building pipelines. Then you come down, there is something called a monitor tab. Okay, in monitor tab, mhm, if we have built all the pipelines, when we run the pipelines, you can monitor here. When we are running the pipelines, you can monitor here. Generally, we put the pipelines on schedule run. Schedule run is nothing but the pipeline is running at a interval of time. Say, if we have to fetch data from our source, so say we are fetching data from our SQL DB. So the pipeline has to fetch data daily in the morning at 8 a.m. So we'll schedule that. The pipeline should be running at 8 a.m. So when the pipeline is running here, you can see it here, running or previous runs or runs in the last 24 hours or 7 days, last 30 days. You can see the pipelines runs here. Okay, we have not run anything last 30 days on this platform. Okay, so you can run these pipelines. Here you can monitor the pipelines here. Okay, this is the pipeline runs where you can monitor. So this is monitor, right? In you come to the other tab is manage. In manage, you will have access to linked services, integration runtimes, and triggers and global parameters. Okay, what we'll do is we'll discuss about basic pillars of ADF. Shit. Okay. Okay, say there are main components of a Azure Data Factory. Those would be first, say, pipelines. Then we have linked services. Then we have data sets. Then we have triggers. Then we have integration. runtimes. Okay, so these are the 5 main components of data factory. So every time you run a pipeline or you're building a pipeline, you will definitely learn use all 5 of these. Okay, then now we'll understand what these 5 are basically. So that tomorrow when we are building it, we'll understand what and where it is used. So link services, in simple words, it can be defined as it is used to define the source or destination of your data. Your data, say your data may be in some SQL DB, or your data can be in your storage account Azure only, or you can your data may be in Azure table also, or some PostgreSQL also it can be there, or say your data is in some website, some HTTP, or say FTP. So when your data is there, say this can be your source or destination also. Uh, when the data is in these places, you will need linked services to connect to these any of these places like storage account also, Azure table also, anything. So linked services. In linked services, what we define is uh, type of this storage, say storage or this data source. What type of data source it is, we'll define, and its address or location, whatever it is, that will define in link services. And we'll be having its credentials also. So link services, what we use is we use the link services to connect to any of the type of data source. It can be source also, destination also. There's a place where the data is kept. So we'll define the look at what type of data it is. It is whether it's an SQL DB or PostgreSQL or HTTP or AWS S3 buckets or anything, any data source. We'll define that. Then we have to give the address of where that source is there. It is on the Azure platform only, or it is on on-prem server, or it is on different server, and where we'll give the URL link for that. And we would need credentials of that location also. I mean that particular service, any if it's an SQL anything, we'll need the credentials also to that to access those data. So whenever if you want to fetch data from an SQL DB, say an MySQL or PostgreSQL, you will have the server name and you'll have credentials, right? That can be your SQL credentials also, or any credentials. So those credentials also will define in the link services part only. Okay. Then we have data sets. Data sets are like next level of this link services. Data sets are nothing but now we know where the data is there, like in which type of this, and data in data sets we define in that location what type of data is there. I mean, we'll go back here. What type of data is there? Whether it's a table, or it is a CSV file or something, or it's a Parquet file. It's a Parquet file. We'll define that what type of file it is. It's a table or a file or a whatever it is. We'll define that, and we'll have the exact location of that file. That we'll design in dataset. Okay, so link service is used to point at the source, what source it is. Will not point to the particular table. If we are connecting to an SQL database, will not point to the particular table in that database. In the link service. In data sets, we'll connect to a link service, and link service will provide which source we are connecting to. And inside that, we'll need to point out which type of file it is and what is the exact location. It's in which database, or if it is in a folder, in which folder, in which subfolder it is there, that will declare in datasets. Dataset will define that. Okay. So link services to the source and datasets to the particular file. So these two are there. Whenever you are transferring data from your source to destination, say if your source is an SQL DB, if your destination is say storage account only, storage account on Azure. Okay, then you will have a linked service here, which will point your SQL DB, and you will have a data set here, which will point to the particular table in that SQL DB, right? The same way here, you will have a linked service which will point to which storage account, and data set will point to which folder and file. Okay, so whenever data is flowing from source to destination, here also you have link service and data set, and here also it data set, and between these two we have activities or pipelines which will connect these two. Whatever it is, here will be the pipeline. So pipeline will make use of link service and data set and connect to the source, take the file, it will go through all the activities, and it will place in the destination, where again it will make use of link services and data sets to put the file there, in simple words. Okay, so the pipeline we are building it here. That's what the other important component of data factory. The pipeline we are building here. The pipeline can be combination of different activities. Okay, this can be combination of different activities. Okay, now comes your triggers and integration runtimes. You'll come to triggers. Triggers are can be defined. Triggers are nothing but if you take example of a trigger of a gun, when you say trigger, when you press the trigger, when you hold the trigger, you'll shoot the gun, right? The bullet comes out. So trigger is like a button which will start the pipeline. It can be any trigger. It can be an schedule trigger. It can be an event trigger also. Schedule trigger is nothing but we will schedule this pipeline to run every day in the morning, say 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It can be anything. You're running it every day in the morning, or if you're running the pipeline every 1 minute, every 1 hour, every 3 hours, or every 4 hours, that will define in the schedule trigger. If it is an schedule trigger depends on time and time interval. So event trigger is nothing but you will define an event. If that event occurs, that pipeline will run. Okay, the same way when you are pulling the trigger, you can shoot the gun, right? So the same way when an event occurs, then the pipeline will run. It can be anything. If we are we'll take the same example of this pipeline only. Say we have some logic that there is a file coming into this, there is some data coming into this SQL DB every morning at 8 a.m. So what we'll do is we'll not schedule a pipeline at 8 a.m. What we'll do is we'll check for this event of having the data in the table using event trigger, which says that I'll show you how to do that also. What this event trigger will do is it will check the table or a particular source when the file or data has come. If the data has come, then the pipeline will run. So in that case, the advantage is if you are putting the schedule trigger daily, it will run at 8 a.m. Even if the data is not there, it will run from source to destination. But in the case of event trigger, what happens is we will put a condition that whenever there is a file in the source only, then the pipeline should run, or else it will not run. If the file or data comes late, say by 1 hour or 2 hours, there is some issue on the source side, then only after the data is available in the folder, or only if the data is available in the table, then only the pipeline will run. So that is example for an event trigger. When an event occurs, it will trigger the pipeline. That event trigger will be attached to the pipeline. Whenever the event trigger will keep on checking the source for the file. Whenever the file is available on the source, the pipeline will run. Okay, that is what event trigger is. So we've discussed pipelines, link services, datasets, triggers, integration runtimes. So coming to integration runtimes. integration runtimes in simple words, it can be considered as processing capacity of ADF. Say the same way you have processor on your mobile or laptop, you have 4-core processor, 8-core processor, or whatever it is. Unless there is a processor on your laptop or mobile, no work will be done, right? So the same way, integration runtime is nothing but the processor of ADF. It is a processing capacity. So integration runtime is used to do anything. You want to run a small pipeline also, large pipeline also, you need integration runtime to do that activity. So one integration runtime is provided by ADF by default, which will look after the processing of for processing the pipelines which are local to Azure platform only. Say you are I'll show you in Azure Data Factory. If you go to integration runtime here in this manage tab only, if you go to integration runtime, when you create Azure Data Factory only, you have this auto resolve integration runtime. This is the default integration runtime that is provided by ADF only. So this using this, you can do all activities local to ADF. I mean, if the source and destination are both on Azure platform only, then you can use this auto resolve integration runtime. But if your source is outside Azure platform or outside this data factory, some SQL DB on a different account or something like that, then you'll be creating a different integration runtime, and that integration runtime will be pointing to a virtual server, a virtual machine. So that integration runtime will make use of that VM, and it will process and run the pipelines when the source or destination is not local to a Azure platform. When it is outside the Azure platform, that VM will use, because if the source is somewhere on a HTTP or an FTP, you are hitting the APIs and getting the data. In that case, this auto resolve integration runtime cannot be used. We'll be using an integration runtime. We'll create an integration runtime and use it. That integration runtime will be pointing to a virtual machine. We'll be needing to create a virtual machine also on Azure platform. So that will be used to access data that is not local to Azure platform. Okay, so these are all the main components. We'll come back to this in detail, because while we are building pipelines, every pipeline will have, so the pipeline contains all these, right? So all the pipelines will use linked services also, because data we need to connect. We'll use data sets also. Every pipeline to run, we need triggers also. Then without integration runtime, nothing is going to get processed. So we'll need integration runtimes also. So every time, every day in, day out, you are going to use all these five. That's why these are called five pillars of ADF. So every time you do any kind of activity, you'll be doing all this. You'll be dealing with everything. Everything you do, you'll need a link service, you need a data set, triggers, you need to run a pipeline, integration runtime. You want to do anything, you want to run a pipeline, it has to make use of integration runtime only. So that's what these are the main components of Azure Data Factory. Okay. Any doubts till now? These are just basics. If you want me to repeat something, I'll repeat something. Harpreet, Abhilash, Pankaj, Ritesh, Shubham.
No, not now.
ठीक है Harpreet?
Yeah, all good.
All good, all good. Just basics only. Nothing
Yeah.
technical actually. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll go back to data factory. We'll create a data factory. We'll go to my home, leave. So here I'll select data factories. Then it will show me all the data factories here, right? So what I'll do is I'll create data factory. I'll go to create. When I say create, it is showing me all this. On the basics list, it is showing the subscription, right? So here my subscription is pay as you go. When you log in, right, it will show you free subscription. It will show you here in the subscription. Okay. So before that, before I create a data factory, I need to create a resource group. Resource group is nothing but it is used to group all your services, because if you are running an organization, there can be different projects, right? For different projects, you will be creating different data factories and different resources. You will group them. You'll not be using the same resource for different projects. So you have two projects which are using Azure platform only. So for project A also you have Data Factories, Databricks, storage account separately, and SQL database separately. And project B also you will have every all other services separately. So to group these, you will need a resource group. So when you say resource group here, you can create a resource group. Nothing, it will not ask for anything. Say create resource group. It will ask for subscription. You will say the name of the resource group. Say XYZ test. It will ask to in which region this resource group has to be uh, created. So for just for following rules and all, you create generally you use a nearest region where your data would be coming from, or where it is flowing, or where you are using it, so that there is less latency in time. But generally most of the resource availability is more on East US and Central US. Say any of the US, you will have the because Azure guys are maintaining their biggest servers in the US servers only. So generally by default it will show you East US only, and we create these in East US only, so that whenever we need data factories and integration run times, and we need VMs allocated to that. So for that reasons we'll be using East US. You can use anything if you are as a part of organization. These are all set up by DevOps guys or infra guys in your organization. They'll be setting up some server which is nearer to the physical location. If all the employees are accessing the server, and the project is also somewhere in India only, and the client is also in India only, it is going to run, and everybody is going to access from India only, then we'll find a place something nearer to India. Say South India, North India, West India, both are. So we'll find something in India only. Okay. Okay, here I am selecting East US only. So if I just say review and create, there nothing else here. You can put a tag here, not useful. Review plus create. You can create this resource group. So it is just like a placeholder. This resource group is just like a placeholder. When creating services, it will ask for the resource group, and you will point this resource group. Whenever you go to the resource group, it will show all the services connected to this resource group. Fine. So XYZ test has been created. So I'll go back to my home. I'll start creating data factory again. Say create. It'll ask for a resource group. I can select the same XYZ test here, or I can select my previous resource group which RGA hai. I can select this also, or I can create a resource group from here. If I say create, it will go to the same page which I created resource group. There you can create it and come back here and again create data factory. So I'm using this XYZ test now. I have to give some name here. Say XYZ test ADF. Okay, so I'm creating the data factory also in the same region of this resource group only. This is version, generally only this is available. Use V2 only. Then go to Git configuration. You don't have to do anything. You can configure the Git later. After we learned all the pipelines and all, we'll do the CI/CD using Git and all. We can configure it later. You can tick this configure Git later. You don't need to use it. You give this at this time. You can directly go to review plus create, and you can create it here. Generally, as the users of Azure, these resources creation and maintenance and managing these, you will not have any access as data engineer. Only there would be some infra department or DevOps guys who will be taking care of resources, where to create them, which region, how much capacity and all. So those guys will be taking care of. They'll create for you and they'll provide you the access to the resource, and you will be accessing the resource to run the pipelines. Only because since we have to create ADF and run ADF for our SAC, we are learning this, or else you will not have access to any of the creation or management of resources. Okay, so we created the ADF here. If we go to our home and say data factories, we can see our new data factory here. You click on it, You say Launch Studio, you can open your data factory, a new data factory, which is just created now. Okay, so uh, I said that integration runtime would be default created, right? If you go to manage and say integration runtimes, see, this is your auto resolve integration runtime, which is created by default. This integration runtime can be used to do minor things on Azure platform only. You transfer some data from SQL DB to storage account or table to storage account, anything like that. You can use this auto resolve integration runtime only. But if you are hitting anything out of this Azure platform like HTTPS, FTP, or some AWS S3 bucket, anything like that, you will be using the different integration runtime. We'll create it and we'll use it. Okay. Coming to link services, I'll show you what all link services, what all sources we can access from ADF. Why are we using ADF instead of Databricks and all? So when you come to link services, you come to new. So here are all the data source types of data sources that are available. You can connect to any of these. There are Amazon RDS, SQL Server, Amazon Redshift, Amazon S3, Blob Storage, Azure AI Search. You can connect to SQL database. It is local to Azure only. SQL database, Azure Databricks, Delta Lake. Okay, so you can come down to say you have FTPs, you have Google Ads, you have Google Sheets, Google Cloud Storage, GitHub, you can connect to them for data. So since Azure is providing connection to all these sources, we are using ADF for this only because it becomes very easy to connect the sources, or else you have to manage via code if you are using it in Databricks. So to connect these sources and to connect this to schedule these pipelines only efficiently and monitoring, we'll be using ADF basically. So most of the data transformation you can do in ADF also, but you will not do when data is very large and you want efficient processing of data. You will use Databricks only for that. So we'll be using in combination, say ADF and Databricks, Data Factory and Databricks. We'll be using in combination. Generally, we use Data Factory to connect to the sources or to write into the destination. But for main data process activities, we will connect to Databricks. We'll send it to Databricks in there in the notebooks. We'll process the data. We'll transform the data. And again, for this whole pipeline for scheduling, triggers and all, monitoring and all, we'll use Data Factory only. So that's how it is. You can do transformations also in Data Factory, but it is not that efficient as Databricks while transforming large amounts of data. So in link services, these are all the sources which you can connect to. Okay, we'll go in detail creation and all again in the next class. So in here in manage, we have link services, we have integration runtimes, Git configuration will configure it when we are done with pipelines. Here we have triggers. In triggers, we can create triggers which will say what type of trigger. Say schedule, tumbling window. I'll explain tumbling window. There are storage events. Storage events, I told you, right? Whenever there is a file in a folder, this event will trigger and you can run the pipeline. That's how the storage event works. There are custom events also, which can be used to trigger an event external, not like storage event trigger. There is some event hub or something like that. Some data is coming there. From there, we can trigger the pipeline. For those, we can use custom events. We'll discuss that also. This is triggers. Then this is parameters and all. If you are into coding and all, you know how to use local parameters, global parameters. The same way in pipelines also, we use global parameters. We'll use this. We'll use parameters in pipelines also, in datasets also, link services also. I'll tell you how these can be useful. These global parameters will be useful while we are deploying the pipeline from lower environments to higher environments when we are in the CI/CD process. That there, these global parameters will be highly useful. Okay, so these are the main components, and this is intro for Data Factory. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Anything to discuss? I don't think any doubts would be there, but open for questions or doubts.
What can be the main reason that our data factory pipeline can fail or something?
Fail, it can be anything. See, when you're designing a pipeline, you will assume that some data is having something. You're processing the data for date. Maybe the source is sending some string value in a date.
Uh,
Then it will fail, right? That can be done, or else anything you are assuming. See, when before building the pipeline, you will just explore the data, what you're handling the data. You'll if you're getting the data from SQL table, you will see what are columns are there, what are data types are there. Based on that only, you will plan your data factory and build different activities. Say any kind of activity, say filter activity also, say sorting operations also, anything, any kind of activity. So if what you have assumed or you have decided and built that, if something else is coming inside, it will fail, right? You are building a pipeline to say flow water. If something else is flowing from that, it will get clogged. If there is so much muddy water coming inside, it will get clogged and stopped, right? That's what happens in these pipelines also.
yeah, that's true. But what are the main reasons that it fails in production?
Production, those pipelines would be that only. See, maybe if you are connecting to an external source, sometimes that source may not be available. Say if you are hitting an HTTP, sometimes that server is down or busy, or some other service is hitting that server, and we are using some. Say there would be some. If you are hitting an HTTP or API, we'll be having some retry. We'll be define some retries, right? I will try for three every 10 seconds or 20 seconds. If still the server is not responding, it will try, and it will fail. It will stop. Mainly, main thing would be when data is flowing, there would be difference in data, or we'll write code to process some kind of data, and that data is not available there. Say there are 5 or 6 columns. If it is primary key and all, that data will be there. If there it's not a primary key or it's not null and it's not defined like that. But if you are trying to process that data, if there's a null value or a blank value that is coming, then again it will fail if the data is not available. Okay,
And how
so
do you get a trigger for that? Via mail or?
yeah, we can trigger, we can send it to mail also. We can send it to, we can create to send a message to our Teams, Microsoft Teams also. We can send a message to mail also. We can do anything. We can program that. We'll use and we'll send mail from here.
Okay, and for example, you created a pipeline that has usually gets 1 million entries every day. We
Yeah.
created a factory for that, and after a few months, the input is now at like 20 million. So how will it affect the pipeline, and when we
It
will decide to move it to
it will it,
data?
it it will take more time. That's what. See, if we if we want to have a check that daily we are receiving only 1 million, and say if we want to check that if there is more difference in the incoming data somewhere, you can put a count or something like that in the pipeline only, so that if it is crossing 5 or 6 million, you should get a mail, or the pipeline should stop, or it should do something else. You can program it like that. Then you will get a mail that there is so much data coming in, or it is taking more time. Before the pressure builds up on the pipeline itself, you will get a mail or an message that there is more data. You can do that. See, you can do that count of data, or uh, get the size of the file in Data Factory also, in Databricks also. You can program that. Then you'll understand. Whenever you're getting more data, only thing happens is the pipeline, normally if it takes 2 minutes, it will take 10 minutes or 20 minutes if the more data is coming in. But if you want to monitor and say that whenever the data file is of large size, you can program, and you have activities in Data Factory which will check the file size. If it is more than that, you can write a different logic, or you can send a mail for yourself. In Databricks also, there is Databricks also handles data in the form of tables and data frames only. So you can count like the same way you count in SQL. The same way you can count a number of rows, or what amount of data in Databricks also. That in Databricks, we'll be using data frames. Data frame is nothing but table only. The same way, these SQL tables are there, no? The same way data frames also work in Databricks. You can look at the table the same way you look at the table in SQL. So you can count what amounts of what number of records are there, and you can write the code accordingly there. If there is more data flowing or less data flowing, if you need minimum 1 million, then if they're less coming, you can count and you can get program to stop it, or send an alert to yourself. You can all program that in Data Factory and Databricks also, both ways.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
All right.
guys. Right. So since this is your first class, we have just given intro, and the next class we'll start basics and we'll start building pipelines. Some basic pipelines we'll start building using activities, storage accounts, SQL DB, and all. Since this is the first class, we are just ending it here. And I'll say in half an hour or 40 minutes, I'll share you a link which you can follow and create an Azure free account there. So Azure will provide free account for 30 days only. After that, you can convert it to pay as you go. As long as you are using Azure Data Factory, the bill would be somewhere around 400 to 500 only, because it will storage account. They're not gonna charge much, only 20-30 rupees. And for Data Factory also, when you are using it for all services local to Data Factory, it is very less only. So Data Factory, you can convert into pay as you go. Coming to Databricks, whenever you create an Databricks service new, it will give you an 15 days of free usage. Okay, after that it can be converted. So basically Databricks is a bit costlier compared to Data Factory. Only thing is we should manage the clusters. We have something called clusters on Databricks, which is just like our integration items and Data Factory. It is used to process the data. So we should control the clusters, like it should be switched off every time we are not using it. If it is switched on and we left it, then we'll get a huge bill. I'll show you how to switch it off, or put a limit on that so that it is not running. So first 15 days you can use it for free Databricks. Then you can convert, say, since our course is 3 months long, first we'll be starting with Data Factory. Still 30 days, you will not need Databricks, say 30 or 25 days start. Then you'll start doing Databricks. Then you can first use for 15 days. You can use free account on Databricks, and again after that you can convert into pay. So you will be charged for another 15 days only. After that we'll go to Synapse Analytics and end-to-end programming. So end-to-end projects. So you can control your expenses after free account also. I'll tell you how to control those, how to switch off those things, and how to take care of SQL DBs not to get larger bills. But Azure will give only 30 days of free. Or else, if you want just to practice, if you have multiple credit cards, you can register with different name with different credit cards and different accounts. You can continue the same account, but for practice, you can try that. You can use any of your friend's credit card and you can register and start. Free account only you can use. You can use it on their way. So many people use that way for practice. 1 month a credit card, दूसरा month दूसरा credit card, तीसरा month तीसरा credit card. So many of the people use that also. You can try that also, or else you can convert it to pay as you go. It is not gonna charge much. We can control that also. Okay, I'll share a link how to create an account on Azure, free account on Azure. You can try that. You'll understand. If you have any problem creating that, maybe if you have created previously, then it will with the same name, address, and the your PAN number and all, it will create an issue. Or else you can create it very easily, not a problem. But definitely you have to give the, it will not bill you, but you have to give your credit card details for while registration. Then only it will complete it. It will not bill you. It will only bill you 1 rupee just to check the credit card thing, and after 30 days only it will start billing you. After 30 days, you can just close the account or stop using, delete all your resources, and you'll not be billed for that. Okay, I'll send you the link for the same on the same community. I'll share the link. You can register. And again, today's Friday, right? We'll meet on Monday again, 9 p.m. We'll start building pipelines right away. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, guys. Okay, I'm stopping sharing. I'm stopping recording. Stop.